program, including Matthew C. I appreciate the super chat contribution. In today's show, Bitcoin hash rate taps a new milestone with miner hodlings at a one-year low. That's right, the Bitcoin hash rate crossed 300 exahashes per second for the first time in history, which ultimately means your Bitcoin wealth is more secure than ever. Also, more breaking news: Russia's energy minister says he supports the legalization of Bitcoin mining in the country. Let's get it. Also in today's show, Bankman-Fried allegedly used FTX money to invest $400 million in obscure VC firm. Also in today's show, Bitcoin as legal tender? Yeah, Arizona senator pushes a bill to make crypto a legal form of currency. I'll be breaking this down for you. Also in today's show, an enormously bullish indicator suggests a crypto rebound, says Skybridge Capital CEO Anthony Scaramucci. Also in today's show, top Bloomberg analyst Mike McGlone says Bitcoin should add yet another zero to its price, but there is a catch. I'll be breaking down this six-figure analysis. We'll also be discussing the Bitcoin price bursting to $30,000, and the latest breakdown from crypto analyst Calio on his $30,000 target. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more in today's show. And as you can see, the market is pumping. I love it. Welcome everyone to Crypto News Alerts pod episode number 1175. I am your host, JV, and today is January 6th, 2023. Checking out the latest market watch. We got Bitcoin now almost up 2% for the day, trading back above 23,000. We have Ether up 3%, trading around $1,600. Cardano up 5.5%, trading just under 38 cents. Matic is one of the top gainers, trading at trading up 12.5%, trading at $1.07, and just gains across the alt market, which is a good indicator. And checking out the coin market cap, we can see the current crypto market cap still sitting above that $1 trillion milestone. There's about 66 billion in volume in the past 24 hours, and the current Bitcoin dominance is 42.4%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, we have Phantom leading the pack, up 23%, followed by eCash up 18%, trading at 0.00003, followed by Matic up almost 13%, trading at $1.08. And checking out the top 100 gainers for the past week, APT up 134%, T up 155%, and just mass overall gains as alts continue to pump it up. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, one of my favorite indicators, shows we're still in neutral with a 54, yesterday a 51, last week a 45, and last month a 27 in fear. And welcome again to everyone just tuning in. Let me know if you're currently bullish or bearish on the King Crypto. Now let's break down the latest technical analysis. Bitcoin is seeing new records in network activity as volatility sends the Bitcoin price action to fresh 5-month highs. Data from resources, including Mining Pool Stats, confirms that Bitcoin's hash rate hit a new all-time high January 26th. Let's get it. And another example of Bitcoin's blitz recovery from the pits of post-FTX woes, the network hashing power is now bigger than ever. Hash rate, which is an expression of the processing power dedicated to the network by miners, is currently at 321 exahashes per second, according to Mining Pool Stats raw data, which you can see in this chart. And despite being only an estimate and impossible to measure entirely accurately, the latest readings are quite the feat, having never crossed the 300 exahashes level ever before. Now, mining firm Brains likewise confirmed the numbers in its live reporting feed. Other trackers from BTC.com and Blockchain.com have slightly lower estimates, both being around 275 exahashes per second on the day. The latter shows hash rate hitting an all-time high of 678.6 on January 20th. Now quoting him here, "Your wealth is more secure than ever," says popular commentator Bitcoin Archive, who wrote in a Twitter thread, "Hash rate is a key component of the Bitcoin security, and a significant drawdowns result in network difficulty rising to entice more miners to participate. Network difficulty is also set to reach levels never seen before this week in a nod to fierce competition in the mining sector. Bring it." And according to data from BTC.com, the next automated readjustment will send difficulty an estimated 2.75% higher to 38.62 trillion. And the previous readjustment delivered a 10.26% increase, Bitcoin's largest since October 2022, and only the second double-digit hike since mid-2021. Now, analyzing the climate, we have CoinLupin, a contributor at on-chain data platform CryptoQuant, who warned that miners are still selling their Bitcoin reserves, possibly to shore up capital in the event of a market reversal. Quoting him here, "Now they have improved profitability for the first time in a while, and mining costs are lower than the Bitcoin prices. Normally, more active active mining and hodling could occur, but now they seem to see it as an opportunity to secure cash. He wrote in a blog post describing reserves as declining at a rapid pace, quoting him again here. One day, price adjustment could happen in the section where they get enough cash and start collecting Bitcoin again. They constantly reduce their Bitcoin holdings during the rise. Now, CryptoQuant's miner position index, which measures Bitcoin outflows to exchanges from miner wallets relative to their one-year moving average, has also captured several withdrawal spikes since January 14th at 1,837,138 BTC. Miners' reserves currently stand at their lowest since December 2021. So there you have it. And as they say, the Bitcoin price follows the hash rate. So this is absolutely a bullish indicator for the King Crypto. As pointed out right here, your Bitcoin wealth is more secure than guarded by this insane number, 300 exahashes per second worth of cyber hornets. Bring it. And as I mentioned here, breaking news, Russia's energy minister says he supports the legalization of Bitcoin mining in the country. Bring it. Putin, make some moves. Let's get Bitcoin adopted all across the world as the game theory continues. And with that being shared, now let's discuss our next story of the day. Did you know that Bankman-Fried allegedly invested $400 million into a venture capital firm? Surprisingly enough, remember when he did an interview not too long ago and he's like, I only have $100,000 to my name in my bank account. This dude has like millions upon millions of dollars worth of investments all across the board, all across the world. So here is what they recently discovered. Check this out. Authorities in the U.S. might have discovered yet another possible component of Bankman-Fried's crypto empire. U.S. federal prosecutors have alleged that Bankman-Fried has used money from FTX Exchange to invest in the venture capital firm Modulo Capital, according to the New York Times. As previously reported, Bankman-Fried's hedge fund and FTX sister firm, Alameda Research, invested a total of $400 million in Modulo in 2022, which became one of the most significant investments by SBF. The funding has drawn particular attention from regulators due to Modulo, a relatively unknown firm, raising substantial capital during challenging times in the crypto market. According to the latest findings by Bankman-Fried's investigators, the Modulo investment was likely made using criminal proceeds or misappropriated money that FTX customers had deposited with the exchange. So they're ultimately saying, this is what it sounds like to me, that he was taking the customer deposits and investing into $100 million projects behind your back. Man, talk about fraudster, to say the least, right? Check it. The prosecutor said that Modulo had become an important part of the investigation. FTX lawyers are now reportedly eyeing their assets as they scramble to recover the billions of dollars from repaying their customers, investors, and creditors. And so far, whereabouts of Bankman-Fried's $400 million investment are currently unclear. Now, Modulo Capital was founded in March 2022 by three former executives at Jane Street, a New York-based firm that once employed Bankman-Fried and Alameda CEO Caroline Ellison. A small circle indeed. One of the founders, Duncan, was reportedly only 2 years out of college. Another Modulo co-founder, Xiaoyun Zhang, known as Lily, was a former Wall Street trader with some ties to SBF. Now, Modulo is also known to run its operations from the same Bahamian condo community where SBF resided. Go figure. Now, the news comes amid U.S. Commissioner of Commodity Futures Trading Commission, Christy Goldsmith Romero, questioning the due diligence work done by VCs and money managers who funded FTX. Why did they turn a blind eye to what they should have really been flashing as red lights, he asked. Now, previously, the Deputy Prime Minister at Singapore's government-owned investment firm Temasek admitted that their investment in FTX caused reputational damage for the firm. So there you have it. Do you think they're likely to pinpoint this and extract this from Bankman-Fried so it can go to the people that the money is owed to, such as the investors that got scammed, in this case, or the creditors? Let me know how you feel this is likely to work out. And with that being shared, now I want to cover one of the bigger stories for the day, and that's Bitcoin becoming a legal tender in the state of Arizona in the United States. Yeah, let's discuss it. Check this out. In the past year, Bitcoin's price declined by about 60% from its all-time high. This has diminished the excitement surrounding the alpha coin until recently. There are still many who have faith in the crypto's future. One of them is Arizona State Senator Wendy Rogers. Show Wendy Rogers some respect and support. Rogers, a Republican, has presented legislation. Notice she's not a Democrat. Anyone supporting Bitcoin, more than likely, is probably going to be a Republican, if it's Republican versus Democrat, just stating the obvious. The law proposed on Wednesday would, if passed, make Arizona the first state in the U.S. to recognize Bitcoin as a legal form of currency. Bring it. The proposals are co-sponsored by Rogers' Republican colleagues in the state Senate, J.D. Mesnard and Jeff Wenninger. Now check it. This is her right here. That's Wendy Rogers, the Arizona state senator. The widely anticipated bill, designated SB 1341, sparked a heated exchange of opinions. It has not yet been established when the discussion will be held in an official capacity, but the date will be set soon. The bill permits the payments of debts, taxes, and other financial responsibilities in Arizona with Bitcoin. This would imply that all transactions currently conducted in the U.S. dollars might possibly be carried out in Bitcoin, and people and establishments would be free to use the crypto as they see right. That's right, and according to research by one of the most prestigious financial institutions in the U.S., Goldman Sachs, one of the most corrupt as well. Hey, just saying. Bitcoin was the best performing asset of the world. This is coming from one of the most corrupt organizations in the world, but they're finally saying something true. Hey, it is what it is. Peter Schiff, pointing this out to you, buddy. Bitcoin tops the list, and according to the bank study, with nearly 27% in total returns and a risk-adjusted ratio of 3-to-1 in its year-to-date assessment of returns. So there you have it. Now, meanwhile, this is the second time that Rogers has presented legislation in her state to make Bitcoin a legal tender. It's not the first time. In January of last year, the senator submitted identical legislation, which is pretty cool, that was rejected by other legislators in the second reading. The cryptos bill approval is uncertain given the U.S. Constitution prohibits individual states from establishing their own legal currency. But interestingly, Rogers' proposed legislation mentioned Bitcoin's potential to operate independently of central bank intervention. That's right. And Arizona is not the only state battling with crypto laws. Last week, legislators in Mississippi and Missouri attempted to enact legislation preserving citizens' rights to mine Bitcoin, an energy-intensive industry that was outlawed in New York in 2022. And according to Anderson Kill law firm partner Preston Byrne, quoting him here, the coinage clause of the U.S. Constitution means that the power to determine what is and isn't legal tender in the United States is the exclusive province of Congress, and noted that if the Arizona senator's plan were to become law, it would be primarily symbolic. All I know is this. If Bitcoin were to pass as a legal tender in a state in the United States, such as Arizona, I think many other states are likely to follow, and this could be incredible for mass adoption of the king crypto. Let me know if you feel this is likely to happen or not. And with that being shared, now let's discuss a crypto rebound as per Skybridge Capital CEO Anthony Scaramucci. The chief executive of the hedge fund Skybridge Capital reportedly says an enormously bullish indicator is hinting at a rebound for risk assets as well as cryptocurrency. According to a new report by Bloomberg, Scaramucci says he believes the U.S. Fed will pause its monetary tightening policies once it reaches its goal, sparking a crypto rally and the rebirth of risk assets. Quoting him here, I do believe that the Fed declares victory at 4 to 5% inflation. If I am right, there will be a resurgence in the market. There'll be a lot of short covering in crypto, and there'll be a rebirth of risk assets. So according to Scaramucci, another massive bullish indicator is the heightened pessimism displayed by world leaders towards digital assets at the most recent World Economic Forum in Davos. That's right, and in the report, Scaramucci also details that Skybridge Capital's exposure to bankrupt crypto exchange FTX, saying that the firm purchased $10 million worth of FTT, which is their native token, only to sell it for $9.6 million a short while later. And last week, Scaramucci predicted that 2023 would be a recovery year for crypto assets, saying that markets are on track to recover from numerous high-profile collapses. And at the time, he said he envisions greater adoption, pushing Bitcoin to a six-figure price tag. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Scaramucci. Do you feel the Bitcoin price action will eventually reach that inevitable six-figure mark? Because our next story, we're going to be discussing a six-figure Bitcoin price as per Bloomberg analyst and lead strategist Mike McGlone. So now let's break down our next story of the day, and then we'll dive into the $30,000 prediction incoming as per crypto analyst Crypto Calio, followed by the live Q&A. Here we go. Bloomberg Intelligence senior macro strategist Mike McGlone says Bitcoin is likely to hit six figures, but the timing of such a rise still remains unclear. In a new interview with crypto influencer Scott Melker, the Wolf of Wall Street, Yeah, McGlone warns traders that the price of the King crypto is likely to dip down to the $15,000 price level before making a run to new all-time highs. The analyst likens the adoption rate of Bitcoin to that of the first interaction of the internet, saying he envisions the top digital asset by market cap booming to six figures sometime in the future, adding that investors should currently be accumulating. I agree 100%, accumulation mode activated. As far as demand adoption, it is just so early days. It's like the internet 20 years ago. The macro big picture, I see another zero being added to Bitcoin. It's a question of time. You're supposed to be accumulating. This short-term bounce this year in January, that's what I am very concerned about in every asset, and just want to be careful so people understand that if you're buying $23,000, you can easily have to write it down to $15,000 before you see yet another zero get added on the back of that number. Now, McGlone goes on further to warn that he believes this month's crypto market rally is a case of investor hopium, noting crypto prices are likely to dip as the Fed continues tightening monetary policy as a means of countering inflation. Quoting him here, I view this as way too much hopium early in the year versus the reality of running money. You're supposed to be careful with this rally. All I know is this: if there is a hopium bong I can take some hits from, I'm all over it. And to watch this video with Mike McGlone entitled Recession Canceled, check the show notes below the video in the description, which leads us to our final story of the day. Let's discuss the $30,000 Bitcoin price action incoming. And by a show of hands, how many of you feel the Bitcoin price is more than likely to hit 30,000 before correcting to 15,000? And if you're in the other camp, let me know in the comments as well. If you feel Bitcoin is likely to correct to 15,000 before we go back up to hit 30,000 and eventually a six-figure Bitcoin price. A widely followed crypto strategist is optimistic of the King crypto, which could surge by double-digit percentage points from the current price. Synonymous crypto analyst Callio tells his 500,000 Twitter followers Bitcoin will swiftly rally to 30,000 after coming a downward trend that started late November. And from the analyst's projected trajectory of Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart, which you can see here on your screen, it seems he's suggesting the flagship digital asset can soar above the 30,000 resistance level sometime in February, right around the corner, where we got a few more days left. Quoting him here, I once again am here to remind you the Bitcoin heads straight to $30,000 from here. And in the chart, he shows you a magnet just above that $30,000 mark. And according to Callio, Bitcoin will outperform Ethereum as the flagship crypto asset targets the $30,000 price level. And when Ethereum is paired against Bitcoin, Callio's chart suggests that the former will drop by slightly more than 30% to below 0.0510 BTC, a level last recorded mid-2022, ultimately saying Bitcoin is likely to outpace Ethereum this run. Quoting him here, ETH/BTC just touched the bounced off high time frame support. Really don't see this holding when Bitcoin starts the impulsive move up to $30,000 plus. Now, the widely followed crypto analyst further says Bitcoin will also outperform the alts as the dominance level of the largest digital asset by market cap inches upward. Now, let's take a look at the current Bitcoin dominance. As we can see on CoinMarketCap, we're currently sitting at 42.4%. We've seen this soar to, I think, 70, 80% in previous cycles. So it'll be interesting to see how high the Bitcoin dominance climbs against altcoins for this particular cycle. Quoting him here, your favorite altcoins might be slowly climbing in terms of USD, which is the dollar price, but whenever you realize it or not, the majority of them are dumping versus Bitcoin, and there are no signs of that trend slowing down anytime soon. I agree with him 100%. I think Bitcoin is likely to outpace the majority of the alts, but yeah, you're always going to have selective alts outpacing Bitcoin because there's tens of thousands of alts in the market, so you do also have to keep that in mind and keep it real at the same time. But let me know when you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to hit that $30,000 target, which Callio is predicting. Do you feel also it can happen in February? Do you think it will happen in February? Or do you feel it's unlikely to happen anytime soon? Holla at your boy. And when do you feel likely the Bitcoin price action will hit six figures, taking it to a whole new level? Do you think that will occur potentially this year, as some analysts are predicting? Or do you think it could happen the year of the halving, 2024, which is next year, or the year preceding the halving in 2025? I know Stock to Flow predicts six-figure Bitcoin price between 2024 and 2025. Max Kaiser is still calling for 100,000 plus Bitcoin price this year. I know Samson Mao calling for 100,000 plus this year. Credible Crypto, $100,000 plus this year. Tim Draper, $250,000 this year. here. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But with that being shared, now let's dive into my favorite segment of the live show, which is the live Q&A. I'm going to read everyone's questions and comments out loud. And once again, I appreciate everyone tuning in to the live show. You guys rock. And again, Matthew C., thanks for the $20 and super chat contribution. You are the man. I did have to start the show late today because I had some prior arrangements I had to take care of, but I'm just glad to be here. April of 2011, Bitcoin was a buck, says John Galt. Thanks for the reminder. I mean, I'm going to just have a moment of silence so that can sink in for everyone. Back in 2011, Bitcoin was $1. Yeah, pretty big deal. Pretty cool stuff. If the market improves, I like to go, says Steve Kingston. Are you referring to the Bitcoin conference of 2023 in Miami, May 17th? Holy moly, I can't believe it's right around the corner. How many of you are actually going to be attending this conference? Let me know. Steve Kingston, good to see you, fam. Another snow day lets me catch the show. Good to be with the fam. Well, I appreciate you tuning in. Shout out to your fam. Pezza, 30,000 is on the way. How many of you agree with Pezza that a $30,000 price action is likely on the way and potentially here for February, which is, again, next week, right around the corner? Steve says, so it's Christmas. We'll see it sometime. 30,000 by Groundhog's Day would be nice. When's Groundhog's Day? Somebody enlighten me. Pezza, 30,000 by February 1st would be even nicer. Agreed. Yep, the sooner the better. I agree, 100%. Pezza, ain't telling no lies. Helen, good to see you, family. Chill says, good morning to the crypto peeps. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending upon where you're at. When do you guys think we'll likely see this God candle, which can take us above 30,000? I mean, things are looking pretty bullish right now. We climbed to a roughly 23,800. Yesterday, things were looking extremely bullish, but it seemed to be a trap. We immediately corrected back down, but we're still hovering above 23,000. So it's like, it's retesting it. It wants to break the surface. It's like gets up to 23, corrects, 23, corrects. Yesterday was a fake out. So it's multiple tests at the same level, which leads me to believe eventually we're going to blow right past it. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. We could correct at the same time. Everything's a probability. We honestly have no idea what will happen. We don't control the markets. The market makers control the markets. You know what I mean? Yeah, and again, you guys rock. Let's get this party started, says Mike's Locks Life. I appreciate that, family, and I appreciate you for tuning in to the daily updates. That's what's up. Party, that's right. How many of you are going to be attending the $100,000 Bitcoin party we're going to have here in Puerto Rico? So I encourage everyone now to stack enough sats so that you can afford to come out here and make the arrangements to do so. Because just think about it. All of you, I'm going to assume, have Satoshis, at least, if not a whole Bitcoin. So just keep in mind, Bitcoin price right now is only 23,000. So for even numbers, sake of the argument, let's just round it down to 20,000. That means Bitcoin will 5x before our party. So figure out now how to accumulate enough Bitcoin so when it 5x, you can afford and make the arrangements to do so. We're not going to have a $10,000 cover charge to join the party. It's going to be free. I want as many of you as possible there. All you need to do is buy some airfare. It might cost you between $200 to $400, depending upon where you're flying from. You know, no clue. It is a part of the United States, so if you're already in the U.S., you don't need a passport or nothing like that. And a decent hotel here could range anywhere from $200 to $300 a night. If you get a special deal, it could be even cheaper. And of course, if you book it way in advance, it could be way cheaper. But we have no clue when Bitcoin will actually hit six figures. Will it be this year or will it be the following year? Nobody really knows, so we'll see how it plays out. I think when we break the all-time high of 69,000, an all-time high will follow soon. I don't see all-time high then crashing back down to 15,000 or something ridiculous and then climbing all the way back to six figures. You know what I mean? I think we're likely to like break above 30, potentially correct, and then head to six figures, as McGlone pointed out. Or, I mean, you never know. We can just surpass 30 now, never correct back down to 15 ever again, and just continue onwards and upwards. And we could be ranging above 30 for the rest of the year. Nobody knows. That's the fun part of this. You know what I mean? I have 4 kids, says Matthew. That's what's up. Analysts say 15,000 is a crash now, says Dan, instead of 12. If you're waiting for 12 or 15, you're going to buy at 40. You make a great point. How many people were on the sidelines when Bitcoin was hovering around 16,000 and they're like, oh, there's no way. I have all this, sideline capital. I'm waiting for the crash to 8,000. 8 never happens, and we shoot up 50% from the low, which we already have at 23. And now all the people who missed out at 16, they're going to FOMO in eventually if they haven't already. I think you're right. Maybe above 30, maybe above 40. Eventually, but we all know FOMO, fear of missing out, it drives the market. People love to participate in Bitcoin when it's at an all-time high. It's just the nature of people. It's how we're wired. It's just the reality of how things are. Del Pillar, good morning. Good to see you. Looking forward to the show. Lots of news, absolutely. The most exciting part of the news for me today was the Bitcoin becoming a legal tender potentially in Arizona. This is massive. I would love to see that. And we need more adoption in the United States. Lawrence Abramoff, good morning, family. Good to see you as always. Pump it up. That's right, Del. Pump it up. You go pump it up. Come pump it up. Matthew. Yeah, finally get a catch, a live episode. I appreciate that. Chris Minka, you're the man. SpongeBob SquarePants, good morning, JV, and the Crypto News Alerts fam. Good morning. Lawrence, we can only wish for the God candle. How big will that God candle be? Do you think it'll be like a $10,000 pump? Maybe more? Let me know. Define the God candle. Del Pillar, like is smashed. I like the show so much, I smashed the like button twice. Appreciate that. Yeah, all I got to do is smash the like button as if it's Gary Gensler's face. Pow! Just like that. Done. Ellen, good morning. JV, I didn't receive the notification today. Strange. Sometimes YouTube does its own thing. And I'm sure a lot of other people didn't get notified as well. But what can I do? Matic is pumping. That's right. One of the biggest pumpers of the day. Jose Torres. Yup, smashed. I appreciate that, family. Chris, what's new with everyone? I haven't made many lives in a while. Hope all is well. A lot going on, man. Just one day in crypto. So much is going on. You just got to check the replays when you can. Barry says the Dutch go for 25,000 BTC. Send it. I think once we can get 25 and break it clearly, things are going to be looking extremely bullish. Extremely bullish, and we're so close. We're 2,000 off from that level right now. Bitcoin Maximus, good morning to you as well, family. Lawrence says it's 2 a.m. here. Won't be sleeping for a while. My apologies. I know I'm late today. Just had some things I had to get to. Hopefully tomorrow we're finally at the normal time, which would be 12 p.m. or 12 p.m. my time in Puerto Rico, which is 11 a.m. Eastern, New York time. That's the ideal time I'm shooting for tomorrow, now that I got a lot of my things I had to do this week out of the way. Bitcoin has grown to be worth more than Bank of America and Morgan Stanley combined, plus April of 2011. Bitcoin was only $1. Thanks for the reminder. Facts. Chris, yep. He says, enjoying the pump. I packed my hodl at 16,000 range. Smart man. Glad you took advantage of it. Let's hope for the higher, says Lawrence. Lawrence, I appreciate the super chat contribution to the $5. Much appreciated. You're like, just a day one, so I appreciate the support. Ellen says, great. I have a little on the side for chasing a few alts. That's what's up. John Galt, just seen you at Simply Bitcoin an hour ago, bro. That's awesome. You guys rock. On-chain is looking bullish. Exactly. So many indicators right now flashing bullish. It's ridiculous. Yesterday's show, I covered 6 flashing bullish indicators right now, which are all buy signals, and I broke them all down for you. Adam, Adam seems to be a good one for show. Big tip, says Dad. Adam, Juno, and Cosmo. That's what's up. I appreciate you guys sharing. Ellen, wow, Ellen just sent me $19.99 as well. So I'm feeling extremely blessed between all the interaction in the chat, all of the support, all the contributions. Wow. Thank you, Ellen. Appreciate that. You guys rock. I truly mean it. I can't always make the stream, but when I do, it's a nice show. Appreciation. Much respect. Thank you. What's good? That's good news. 2%, says Lawrence. What you referring to with the 2%? JV, going to talk about the EU Bitcoin news. Tell me, maybe I missed it. I was with lawyers earlier, and I wasn't in front of my computer all morning. I just got here, rushed back home to get this show live, so I didn't get to really research and do my due diligence as I typically would for a couple of hours in the morning before I put the show together. Today I had to rush and get it all done in like 30 minutes. So let me know, what's the EU news? Enlighten me, please. Oh, yes, Steve and more got yesterday. That's what's up. You guys, I don't know how you do it in the cold, 35 degrees Celsius. Plus every bloody day. UV always over. Oh my God. I don't know how you do it. Top Arizona. Exactly. Show Arizona senator some support. I hope it passes in Arizona too. It'll be spectacular if it does. Lawrence says, I'm ashamedly a Trumper. Me and most of my friends on AUS know he tells it like it is. Are you referring to, are you from Australia, are you saying? But you and your friends support Trump? I mean, that's cool. I mean, as long as you guys don't support Biden, we're cool. Anyone who supports Biden and is a friend of Biden is not a friend of mine. Just saying. I hope so. Goes a long way, especially here with the horrid New York government. Preach, Ellen. SpongeBob says, I want to live in Mr. Rogers or Miss Rogers' neighborhood. I like that. Pun intended. At least he knows what's what and doesn't sniff little girls or fall off stationary bikes. Facts. Facts. New York, they can rest in peace. I want to see what a woman, Daco. Lawrence says, Ellen says, well, Lawrence, you're going to be cheering soon. When you see that happens, it's going to rock the world. Lawrence says, when he asks the Africans, based on what I am saying, do you want to move to the U.S.? Yes, Matthew, I know it's the worst government ever. Large short positions are at $25,000 level, Chris Minka points out. Good to note. It seems people do get wrecked when they have these leverage positions, especially when they're over leveraged. Saint says, what do you call a ghost that keeps smoking your weed? A Scaramucci. Best joke of the day. That is freaking hilarious. Oh my God. I'm going to remember that one. What do you call a ghost that keeps smoking your weed? A Scaramucci. Hilarious. You guys are awesome. Didn't catch the beginning, but glad I caught part of the live. Always useful and timely info, JV. Thumbs up. Appreciate that, Nate. Thank you for your support. Steve, and that a lot of other things. I'm going to sell my assets and buy them all back. An investment loan to minimize my tax, says Lawrence. As usually, nobody knows, says Mark Thomas. Preach. Facts. Any trader that tells you with 100% certainty the market is going to perform like this and go here, turn the other cheek. Anyone with 100% certainty on anything of the future, unless they're Nostradamus and they're a certified psychic, even Miss Cleo pretended to be a real psychic. She wasn't. Just saying. Because everything is in the realm of possibilities. So there's always a probability. Even of Bitcoin going to zero, there is a probability. The probability may be like 0.00001% chance that happened. Maybe more, maybe less. I have no clue. But realistically, there's always a probability that anything can happen. You got to be real. So there is a probability we hit a lower low. I think the probability of that happening is less likely and less probable than us continuing to pump. But absolutely, it can happen. If there's too many longs that are over leveraged, the market is going to crush you so they can take those profits away from you. And vice versa when you're shorting the market. If there's too many shorts that are over leveraged, the market is going to pump to steal all that, you know what I mean, and take all those positions, hundreds of millions of dollars. That's what the market does. The market will always win. You know what I mean? The market maker controls, ultimately, the price action. You know what I mean? To a certain extent, absolutely. So that's why I say, regardless if you're long or short, be prepared for all scenarios. If Bitcoin is going to dump more, do you have a strategy in place? Maybe to stack more sats. Or if Bitcoin was to pump, did you already do enough due diligence to position yourself to be able to benefit from that pump and add to your position? More so than you were at the previous pump, or maybe more so than you were at this time last year. You know what I mean? And just keep it simple. So that's why, regardless if there is a dump or a pump, I'm always optimistic. I'm eternally optimistic. Like, honestly speaking, if Bitcoin can crash to 5,000 tomorrow, I will be celebrating because I would buy so much Bitcoin, I'd just take advantage of it and win. And if Bitcoin was to pump tomorrow and I didn't buy any today, I don't care because I bought so much Bitcoin over the last 4 or 5 years that, I'll be set for life as long as it just keeps pumping. So regardless of what happens with the short-term price action, because I'm a long-term hodler, it doesn't matter. I'm going to win regardless. And I think you guys, many of you, are positioned to do the same. I'm just speaking out loud. These are just my thoughts that run through my mind that I'm sharing with you. Let me know if you can relate. BTFD says Ellen. That's right. And DCA, dollar cost average. SpongeBob says Bitcoin is cheap at 23K. Facts. I'm 30,000 camp. I don't know how low any dip after will go, says Chris Minka. Maximus says all possibilities and probabilities have to be taken into account. Real talk. Bitcoin can hit $1 million. Is it likely to happen this year? No. Is there still that probability? 100%. Anything can happen. Anything. Yeah, for real. Jeff, you have made to find the reaction area and be ready for the moves. Exactly. If Bitcoin goes to zero, I have plenty of ammo and canned goods, says Steve. That's what's up. Keep stacking those ammos. Stacking those bullets. It's a commodity, not a stock. Facts. That's our goal, right? Yeah, keep stacking sats. I don't care about the dollar value. As long as my Bitcoin accumulation in BTC is more than it was previously, I'm happy. That's stacking sats. I don't care about the temporary price action. I'm not concerned with it. As long as my Satoshis are growing at the end of the day, I'm doing the right thing, and I know I'm eventually going to win big. You know what I mean? That's just the reality of it. Dan says there's too many lost coins. Coins are the dead and super diamond hands for Bitcoin to even go to zero. I agree there. I feel it is very improbable, but anything can happen. You know what I mean? If the government came out tomorrow and they say, hey, we're really Satoshi, or we stole Satoshi's wallet, or we confiscated it before his death, we're going to dump it all into the open market. They can figure out ways to completely, suppress the price action and manipulate it. Does it necessarily mean it's going to zero? No, because as Dan just said, there's so many lost coins. How is it going to go to zero? That would mean every believer in Bitcoin would have to have zero faith in it, enough to sell all of their Bitcoin and not want to do anything with it anymore. And as long as there's people like you and I, that will never happen. Very improbable. Can it happen? I mean, hey, a meteor can hit Earth tomorrow and we can all disappear. Anything can happen. It's just not likely to happen. Hopefully this resonates with you. Don't encourage my jokes. They'll just get cheesier and cheesier. No, I like your jokes. Scaramucci is the funniest joke I've ever heard. Scaramucci. That's always going to be in my brain now. Every time I think of Scaramucci. Bring on the cheese. That's right. But also remember, not your cheese, not your keys. So self-custody. They manipulated it down with futures contracts. That game can only take it so low. I'm glad you brought that up. Derivatives are criminal. Max Kaiser was calling out central bankers over a decade ago. I recently shared one of those clips to Congress where he's like, derivatives are a weapon of mass destruction. And he was quoting Warren Buffett, one of the most famed investors in the world. Him literally saying that derivatives are a weapon of mass destruction. They ruin and destroy economies. You know what I mean? But meanwhile, because no bankers have ever been hung in the past, they continue to get away with it. You know what I mean? Jamie Dimon's out there, the Goldman Sachs bankers out there, the central bankers out there, the IMF. You know what I mean? And shout out to El Salvador, as I covered yesterday. They paid off their $800 million debt to the IMF, so they're a debt-free sovereign country. I want to see more countries like this continue in 2023, 2024, and heading into the future. Yeah, man. So anyways, with that being shared, now let's recap with the big finish of what I shared with you here in today's show. I broke down the latest technical analysis. We discussed breaking news of the Bitcoin hash rate, tapping yet another milestone with miner hodlings at a one-year low. We also discussed that Russia's energy minister says he supports the legalization of the Bitcoin mining in his country. Bring it. We also discussed Bankman-Fried allegedly using the FTX money from customers to invest $400 million into an obscure VC firm, as we find more and more shenanigans from Bankman-Fried. We also discussed Bitcoin potentially becoming a legal tender in Arizona, as the Arizona senator is trying to legalize crypto in their state. We also discussed enormously bullish indicators suggesting a crypto rebound, according to Skybridge Capital CEO Anthony Scaramucci. We also discussed top Bloomberg analyst Mike McGlone says Bitcoin should add another zero to the price, but also mentioned there was a catch, and the catch was we rise to 30,000, then we crash to 15,000 before rising to six figures for the first time, as per the Bloomberg analyst. And we also discussed a Bitcoin burst to 30,000 incoming in February, according to this analyst, Calio. And so, yeah, where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me